Hello, I'm Executive Motivational Speaker Anthony Gerusa, and I have just purchased my fifth yellow polo. Here it is. Here they are all together. So today, I want to go over note taking. Something that a lot of students and a lot of parents ask me about is note taking. How do I, as a student, take good notes in class? Or parents will ask me, how can my student, my child, do better at taking notes at home during homework or during class time in school? It's pretty simple. Step 1, find a yellow polo wearing executive motivational speaker named Anthony Gerusa. Watch my videos. Pretty easy step 1. It's a lot of fun too, especially if you watch on Dailymotion or YouTube or Metacaf or anywhere else. You might see my video. So that was a pretty obvious step. Now I want to talk about how I take notes. I am not a visual learner. I am an auditory learner. I learn best not by watching, but by listening. One way that I used to take notes is very different from how most people take notes. There's a lot of visual learners in school, or there's people that have been manipulated into believing that they are visual learners when they actually are not, and that's one reason why they struggle so much. When you write down what other people say, or even read already printed out note cards that sometimes they'd give you in school, that only helps them because they are visual learners. They are looking at these words as if they're looking at a picture, and then on test day, they take the picture in their mind of what they looked at on their note card to place it where it would fit for that test, whether it's true or false, multiple choice, or any other type of question. I'd have teachers who would be like, Anthony, don't do this. You can't do this way. Well, actually, this was the only way I could do it. In math class, science class, history class, English class, I would draw road maps. That's right, road maps, and not write down anything the teacher was saying. Literally road maps like this. Because I'm an auditory learner, and I would be able to repeat exactly what all of my teachers had previously said about whatever subject that they were preaching or teaching. And remember, I did have some teachers that preached more than they taught, and I'm sure if you're a student, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because I'm an auditory learner, I was able to ace tests more often because I was multitasking, listening to whatever the teacher was saying while drawing these road maps. Why is this important for you, a parent, or you, a student, to know? Depending on how you learn, and I know in public schools they try to standardize everything, that's why they push the visual narrative. When you draw while listening to nonfiction information, or even if it's not nonfiction information, if it's just a story or something else that somebody's trying to tell you, your brain will be able to remember more, because when you are drawing, you are creating a subliminal message in your brain by how you draw and what you draw while listening auditorily to whatever your teacher is teaching. That way, you take notes in your mind, which keeps your brain functioning faster and more efficiently during class, rather than just looking at something and trying to put words or a singular word as your picture and then putting it back into place on that test day. See that? Using your brain to take notes rather than writing it down to remember. Now, some people are like, I need to write things down to remember everything. Well, that's the problem. When you write things down and you're not able to use those notes, now you're not going to succeed. You won't succeed on that test because now you're relying on what you had written down. You're not using your brain. You need to use your brain to succeed in school. I think every parent will agree with me on this. And when your teachers say, oh no, you can't do that to be successful, guess what? They have a degree in college and only make a 5-figure income instead of somebody who has a high school diploma who makes a 6-figure income. Good point. Now let's say if you are a visual learner, right? What you're going to do is you're going to take notes. You're going to write things down. But remember, when you write things down, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to remember it. Visual learners usually learn best when they see the word or the phrase, and they can put it back into the proper place on test-taking day. What does that mean? Let's say if you had a picture and you cut it into 9 equal squares. Okay, let's say square picture, 9 equal squares. You take the middle square out and then you just have a blank white space, right? Well, with visual people, they will know exactly what information goes in that white space without having the correct piece of the image there. So let's say if it's a sentence and there's a blank spot inside of that sentence, usually a fill in the blank type question, visual people do very well on those because they know the sentence and they're just taking the picture in their mind to put that word in that fill in the blank. Does that make sense? That's a pretty good example. Then you have another type of learning path that most schools avoid. And this is really disrespectful to students who need to learn this way. It's through experience. You could tell that person, that child, everything that needs to be done. Or write it down for that child to follow. And yet that child will still be unsuccessful. Why? Because that child learns best through doing, having the experience of it. And that child will only understand things if that child gets the experience. This literally means that, yes, motivational speakers coming in for one day at a school doesn't have to be me. Remember, it's not about me. It's about helping other people. Get my rivals to come to your school if you're not going to have me. You have to understand that motivational speakers, the reason we're successful is because we know how to teach children visually, auditorily, and through experience, all in our motivational speaking presentations. That's what makes us, motivational speakers, successful. And this is the type of service every child should have access to, unless if blocked by people with large egos who don't want the children to succeed by having motivational speakers come to their school. Think about that. Thanks for watching this video. I now have new yellow polo number 5. Have a great day. Bye.